I'm just looking for holes. It's not the beauty of the rock or the plant life or the flowers. I want to find the holes. It's all anticipation and adrenaline and just the excitement of what could be there.
It's dirty underground. Sometimes space is limited. The opening a sleeve that is a little too tight. The rock isn't going to give. The human body must distort itself whatever way to make progress.
As long as there's even the smallest little passage, you're not done.
Ken Segrist does this for a living. He's a wildlife technician for the Bureau of Land Management, South Central Oregon. His assignment, explore.
A light gets absorbed immediately as it comes out of your flashlight. You get in a cave and it seems like the darkness eats the light immediately right out of the lens. And the bigger the passage, the less you can see.
A river of red-hot lava, liquefied rock, roared through this space thousands of years ago. It left behind a stone tube that widens to subway size sometimes, then shrinks to rabbit hole dimensions within a few feet.
The gases in the cave remain extremely hot and the rock actually melts. And as the rock is melting, it starts to drip. And the longer it stays hot, the longer that the drips grow.
As a government caver, Ken Segrist surveys lava tubes, taking inventory of the precious, rare, and unexpected. Here are angel hair crystals that grow in the perpetual darkness. The silvery filaments grow from mineral deposits on the cave floor. They weave themselves into clusters that resemble spun glass. The formations appear in only a few caves in the Pacific Northwest. They are fragile and disintegrate on contact.
That's why the cave is being protected.
The cave has been sealed with a metal gate. Ken seeks other treasures needing protection. Cell coverage and radio communication are spotty out here. Jagged rock cuts tires and skin, and isolation reigns. But caving is in Ken's blood. Lava tubes with unknown wonders in store lie hidden in the ancient flows.
I'm not worried so much about breaking a leg, getting pinned between boulders, as I am just taking a misstep and having to catch myself falling down and breaking a wrist. You can put a hand out and catch yourself just fine, but this rock here then just slices through that artery.
Ken covers 200,000 acres. You've got to walk the ground with a sharp eye. The caves are mere shadows among infinite shadows. Sometimes there is nothing there at all.
If you would have been standing in the same place a different part of the day with the sun shining in, you would have seen it was nothing more than a pile of rock.
So far, Ken has identified at least 35 caves that might need special wilderness protection from the BLM. There are likely to be many, many more.
And all of a sudden you drop over this rock edge and watch it closely go past your face. All of a sudden this whole ceiling drops away and you can just slowly just lower yourself down through it. Very outrageous. You find more than you expected to find.
Water-carved sand castles, 3 feet high, delicate, a breeze could destroy them, formed over millennia and rise from the rocky floor.
And you don't believe that you're going to find anything better. You come around another corner and there's something else you haven't seen before. There's a really nice long one. There's a nice long one. Back head.
Ken knows he should never crawl the passageways alone. Caver protocol is to mark a cave location and return with a buddy. Restraint takes willpower and discipline when an interior landscape offers sensational discovery.
Visit a spot that no one has ever visited before. Where do you go on this earth anymore? Well, you can do it here underground.
This cavern might have remained sealed for eternity. Ken and his colleague Jerry Zimmer discovered the entrance from clues on the surface. They were first to enter a cavern where fantastic shapes formed in infernal heat 10,000 years or more ago.
These were created from drips from the ceiling, splattered on the floor, piled up, all the little drops, and created these freestanding lava formations.
It seems to be the work of a sensual sculptor. The forms are fragile. If the cave were not kept secret, human presence would lead to their certain destruction.
The whole ceiling is soda straws, just one after another, and they're right up against your head and your back. So to make a movement, you're putting yourself right into breaking that formation.
When these types of things are damaged, they're gone forever. They're completely destroyed. They will never grow back, so to speak, no matter how many thousands of years.
The huge distances could complicate search for a hiker in the lava fields. Ken Segrist leaves a route plan in his truck to be safe. And he relies on his 20 years of experience to stay healthy on a risky job.
In small passages with rough floor, you rely on knee pads, elbow pads, gloves, a couple shirts that you actually wear for padding and not to keep warm.
He carries a couple of flashlights along with his headlamp. He packs food, water, and fresh batteries. Light might be his only comfort should he ever be trapped in a cave.
You can see here the porcupine has been here before us. There's a quill actually stuck in my leg.
In a lava tube, a boulder could easily shift just enough to block the exit.
It's very easy to be able to slip past something and have a lot of difficulty trying to come back the opposite direction. If you get into a panic, chances are you are going to have a problem, and that problem could make it impossible for you to leave the cave.
Yet south of the small town of Brothers, below rangeland dotted with juniper, ranch hands penetrated this cave a century ago.
Looks like an R. Gibson, could be an H. Gibson, 1891. They don't have any light, they can't see what they're doing, they don't have any safety protection, and they'd come this far into this darkness.
Charred sticks on the floor of the cave were both torch and writing instrument.
Not only to see what you're doing, but to be able to find your way back out of the cave would be quite dangerous.
Squeezing through, digging out, dropping down into the volcanic landscape of South Central Oregon, Ken Segrist is at home. There are labyrinths here of indeterminate length and intricacy. But the more Ken studies caves, the more he knows the limits of his knowledge.
This is telling me that there is passage alongside of the main passage of this cave. There's a paralleling large tube flowing next to this one.
A dark grotto, never seen, lies beyond the cave wall. If Ken is lucky, he may actually enter it someday.